Today I'm going to tell the story of Noah and the Great Flood. Now you remember from before, Noah, the biography of his life is that Noah was a righteous man. Noah was blameless in all of his days, and Noah walked with God. And so I'm just going to go right into the story, and I'm going to skip parts, so you'll see me close my Bible. Alright, I'm starting with Genesis 6:11. Now the Lord looked out over all the earth, and he saw that the whole earth was corrupted, for mankind had corrupted himself. And so, God said to Noah, "It's time. The end of all flesh has come, and I am going to destroy all things. I'm going to destroy all kinds of animals and creeping things and beasts of the earth. Everything that lives on the earth, along with the land itself. So, make an ark of gopher wood, and make it with rooms, and cover it both inside and out with pitch. And I want you to make the ark in these dimensions. 300 cubits, 50 cubits, 30 cubits. And I want you to make the ark have 3 decks, upper deck, middle deck, and lower deck. And put a window about 1 cubit down, and in the side, place 1 door. Well, even I, am going to destroy the earth and everything in it. I'm going to destroy all the beasts and animals and birds of the earth. Everything that has the breath of life, I'm going to destroy. But with you, I am making my covenant. And you and your sons and your wife and your son's wife will go into the ark. And you will provide for them. And so Noah, take two of every kind of animal, every kind of thing that walks on the earth, every beast, 2 of every bird, male and female, 2 of every creeping thing, 2 of everything will go with you onto the ark. And I will command it, and it will come to you in that day. Oh, and Noah, you're going to need some food. Take food. Take every kind of food that anyone can eat, that anything can eat. Bring it with you on the ark, because you are going to provide for all of these. Now when Noah heard these instructions, he got right to work. He did them. He did every one of them exactly as God had said. He followed God's instructions to a T. Stop. Okay, Noah, God gave Noah a few extra instructions, actually. He told him also to bring in 7 of every kind of approved, kind of clean animal for a purpose that God had later on. Okay, so God actually gave Noah some notice, too. He gave him 7 days' notice, and on the 7 days before the flood came, it actually came to pass, exactly as God said, that all these animals just came to him. Okay, and that's where I'm going to pick up the story in Genesis 7, verse 11. Okay, in the 600th year of Noah's life, on the 2nd month, and on the 17th day, the floodgates burst open, and water burst out from the fountains of the deep. And it rained for 40 days and 40 nights. And this happened not a moment too soon, because it was on that very day that God called Noah and said, "Get onto the ark, you and Shem and Ham and Japheth and their wives and your wife, and all the animals, the birds, the creeping things, the cattle, everything, get them onto the ark." And when the last one was on the ark, God himself shut the door. And the rains came down for 40 days. And as they came down, everything in its way, the water simply just prevailed over everything. And as the water built up, the boat, the ark itself began to rise, and it began to rise higher and higher. And the rain came down and swept away everything in its wake. And the waters rose until they were over all the mountains. In fact, they covered the highest mountains by about 15 cubits or so. And everything died. Birds and animals and creeping things and every kind of swarming thing and every human. In fact, everything having the breath of life perished. Now this went on for 150 days, and it says in the Bible that God remembered Noah and those that were with him on the ark. And God caused a gentle wind to blow over the surface of the sea, and it gradually caused the water to go down little by little. So let's see how it happened. Again, on the 600th, by the way, reading from Genesis chapter 8, verse 4. In the 600th year of Noah's life, again, the water began to go down. Now this was on the 7th month, but again on the 17th day. And the ark hit ground. It landed on the mountains of Ararat. And the water kept going down until about the 10th month. And on the first day of that month, if you looked out, you could see the tips of the mountain. So then, after 40 days, Noah opened the window. You remember that he had made a window. And Noah sent out a raven. Now the raven fluttered around over the surface of the water, looking for a place to land, and it just did that until the water completely dried up. Well, when the raven didn't come back, Noah sent out a dove. And Noah wanted to know whether the water was going down or not. Well, the dove, when she flew, she could find no place to rest and no place to set her feet. And so the dove came back to Noah. And Noah reached out his arms, and he took the dove back in with him into the ark. Well, after 7 days, Noah sent the dove out a second time. This time the dove came back that very evening, and in her beak she had a fresh olive leaf. After waiting 7 more days, Noah sent the dove out again, but this time she didn't come back. Well, God did eventually let them leave, but nobody left the ark until the water was completely dried up and until God said it was okay to leave. And this happened on the 601st day of Noah's life, on New Year's Day. Now, all this went on for about 10 months. So here's the story of what happened when God finally said, "You may leave the ark." This is reading from Genesis chapter 8, verse 20. Now the first thing Noah did when they left the ark was he created an altar to the Lord. And on the altar, he took those extra animals that were approved for sacrifice, and he burned them up on the altar, every one of them. Now as the flame went up and the smoke from the altar, the Lord breathed in the smoke from the flames of the altar. It smelled to the Lord like a soothing, fragrant aroma. And the Lord said to himself, "I will never again curse the ground on behalf of man, although his days are evil from the very time of his youth. And I will never again do this thing of destroying all of life in this way." And God said, "For as long as there is the earth, there will always be seed time and harvest, heat and cold, summer and winter, day and night, they will never cease." That's the story of Noah and the flood. and I hope you'll join with me for some extra discussion. Thanks.